Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call this regular meeting of the City Council for August 1st, 2023 to order. And if you all would like, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. City Clerk, you can call the roll.
Gabriel.
Here.
Newman.
Here.
O'Doherty.
Here.
Pierce.
Here.
Richardson.
Here.
Shumway.
Here.
Somerville.
Here.
Cumby.
Here.
Harrington.
Here.
That's 9 present and 0 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. We will move on to item 4, public comment on non-agenda items. Any members of the public wishing to speak to the council on any items not on the agenda this evening, please go ahead and come forward if you're in the room, or raise your hand if you are on Zoom. You will have 3 minutes. All right, we will. Councilor Doherty, did you have a?
It seemed kind of loud.
Was I loud? I could
No,
tell.
but when Councilor Richardson was speaking and then when you were speaking, I think we're getting a lot of sound up here.
Okay.
Normal.
How's that, Councilor Doherty? Does that feel less loud? I could talk quieter.
Oh, no, I think that's fine. We probably ought to test for the counselors online.
Councilor Richardson, would you mind testing?
No problem. Am I too loud?
No.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, councilors. All right, public comment, last chance. We will close the public comment period, and I will recognize the Vice Mayor for changes to the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the following changes to the agenda be approved. To move item 9I to item 10A.
Second.
Motion by Cumby, second by Pierce. All those in favor of that change to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Okay, seeing none, those changes have been made. Vice Mayor, back to you to set the agenda.
Thank you. I move that the agenda be set as changed.
Second.
Motion by Cumby, second by Newman. All those in favor of setting the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the agenda has been set. We will move on then to proclamations, presentations, and public hearings, and I will recognize the city clerk for the public hearing.
Notice is hereby given that a public hearing of the Laramie City Council will be held at 6:30 p.m. on August 1st, 2023 in the City Council Chambers, Laramie City Hall, 406 Ivinson Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming. The meeting shall be held with both online Zoom and in-person option to take public comment on the following: City Council Resolution 2023-48, Laramie Growth Plan. Albany County and the City of Laramie have worked together to develop the Laramie Growth Plan, a joint growth plan which will include the development of joint or cooperative regulations for the Laramie growth area to help define responsible growth in the rural-urban interface, which will be presented for approval by the City Council. This plan is considered a master plan and will be a guiding document for future planning and development activities in the Laramie growth area. All applications, plans, and specifications relative to these matters are available for review at the City of Laramie Planning Office at 405 Grand Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming. Anyone wishing to be heard should be present at City Council chambers or via Zoom.
Thank you, City Clerk. Any member of the public wishing to speak during this public hearing? Go ahead and raise your hand if you are on Zoom. Come forward if you are in the room. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and move then to announcements. Assistant City Manager, did you have an announcement this evening?
Honorable Mayor, we have one announcement by Public Works Director Brooks Webb.
Thank you, Director Webb. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I received some information this afternoon. I wanted to share the 3rd Street Waterline project has progressed very well the last couple of weeks. And so what that means is that the closure is going to move this weekend, and it will be between University and Garfield, which is significant because that includes the 3rd and Grand intersection. It'll close down Saturday evening and is scheduled right now to reopen right before Labor Day. Hopefully get paving down before Labor Day. That section will open and then we'll move further south. Thanks.
Thank you, Director Webb. That update is sure appreciated, and their efforts to get it done in a timely manner also appreciated. It's obviously inconvenient, but if folks can spend a little more time in businesses downtown, it is certainly welcome as they endure these closures, but it is necessary. All right, council members, any disclosures? Okay. Seeing none, we will move on to the approval of the consent agenda. Vice Mayor, please.
Thank you. I move that the consent agenda be approved and that each specific item on the consent agenda be approved as indicated.
Second.
Motion by Cumby, second by O'Doherty. City Clerk, you can call the roll.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. The consent agenda has been approved. Council members, we'll move on to the regular agenda now, and I will recognize the Vice Mayor for item 10A, which for members of the public following along, that item used to be 9I.
I move that council approve Resolution 2023-56 to appoint Trinity Sandoval, Avery O'Flanagan, Brendan Brown, Carson Kruger, and Embry Miller to the Laramie Youth Council for the 2023 through 24 school year and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Cumby, second by Councilor Shumway. It was a close one. City Clerk, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight, I'm pleased to introduce you to the 5 youth council members presented to you this evening. They all come to us very excited to be a part of the program and learn more about our local government. So just a tad bit of background, the Laramie Youth Council was created back in 2015 to provide that opportunity for youth to have a voice in their local government. If there's an issue that comes before City Council or even the Albany County Commissioners, they could bring that item forward to the Youth Council to gather the perspective of the youth in town, and also give them the opportunity to learn more about their local government and how that works. So we're excited to introduce you to these 5 if you want to come forward. We have Embry Miller, Carson Kruger, Trinity Sandoval, Avery O'Flanagan, and Brendan Brown.
Thank you, City Clerk. Welcome, everyone. If you'd like to say anything, the floor is yours. Really excited to have all of you here.
I'm Embry Miller. I decided to join Laramie Youth Council so I could help advocate for mental health awareness, because I think that there might be a lot of like tools that we have out there, but that we don't get enough publicity. So we could help with that, I guess.
That's excellent. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carson Kruger. I'm passionate about youth engagement within the community, and I look forward to learning and working with all of you. Thank you.
Great.
Hello, I'm Trinity Sandoval. I would like to see the youth in our community be more involved in community service activities and just know more about our community government in general. Thank you.
Great.
Hi, my name is Avery Flanagan, and I have become increasingly interested in how the public engages with government, and this seemed like the most proactive and best way to learn and engage. Thank you.
Great.
Hi, my name is Brendan Brown, and I like to serve my community, and I'm excited to meet all of you and work with all of you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for taking the time to apply to this youth council. You are another link in a long line of great students that have participated in this and done some really significant work with the city. So welcome to all of you, and thank you. City council members, any comments? The floor is yours. Okay. We will go to the public. If there's any members of the public that wish to speak to this item, go ahead. Come on forward or raise your hand on Zoom. Seeing none, back to the council before the vote. All right. Please, Councilor Shumway.
Thank you, Your Honor. I, of course, recommend all 5 of these outstanding young men and young women. They are very impressive. They are sincere in what they're coming to this youth council to accomplish, and we welcome them. I am certainly impressed with each and every one of them, and I want them to know that.
Thank you, Councilor. Anyone else? Okay. Seeing none, City Clerk, you can call the roll.
Newman.
Yes.
Adorty.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item has been approved. Welcome to all of you. All right, Councilor O'Doherty, we're going to move on to item 11.
I move to award the bid for the pressure-reducing valve replacement Bill Nye project to Mechanical Systems, Inc. of Cheyenne, Wyoming, in the amount of $696,610 and a contingency of $136,390 for a total amount not to exceed $833,000. Amend the fiscal year 2024 budget.
Second.
Motion by O'Doherty, second by Cumby. Director Webb.
Mayor.
Please, City Clerk.
Well, no, you got the amount right. We were just discussing whether we needed and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign at the end. Would you mind adding that?
I would like to add and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Thank you.
Agree.
Thank you. Director Webb, please. Thank you.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, I wanted to say first off, back in 2015, my son was on the very first Laramie Youth Council. He's now entering his senior year of college.
That's excellent. Thank you, Director Webb.
So the pressure reducing valve, thank you, Councilor O'Doherty, for actually saying it out for me. I noticed on the cover sheet here, I said PRV because we just assume everybody knows that PRV is a pressure reducing valve. Anyway, the project went under design in November 2022. Big need for this project, there's really 3 things. The first one is that the current pressure reducing valve is in a vault that is located right in the middle of the future right-of-way of Bill Nye down by Corthill Road. And so that needs to be moved for the future Bill Nye project. Also, it being in a vault always is a problem for us. As far as access, safety, guys going up and down ladders, confined space type things. So having it above ground in a building is much preferable. And then also, it's currently not on our property. We do have an easement there, but the restrictions on that easement make it difficult to access sometimes. And the project is moving the pressure reducing vault out actually onto city property out of that Bill Nye right away. We went out to bid on the project, and we received one bid from Mechanical Systems, who we've worked with many times. And after reviewing the bid documents, staff is recommending approval of the bid award and contract for Mechanical Systems Incorporated. And I'll be happy to take any questions if you have them.
Thank you, Director Webb. Council members, any questions on this item? Okay, seeing none, we will go to public comment. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak to the council on this item? Go ahead and just come forward if you're in the room, or raise your hand on Zoom. Seeing none, back to the council for any comments before the vote. Okay, City Clerk, you can call the roll on this item, please.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item has been approved. Councilmember O'Doherty, we're back to you for item 12.
I move to approve Amendment Number 1 to the Professional Engineering Services Agreement with WWC Engineering for construction engineering services for the pressure-reducing valve replacement Bill Nye project in the amount of $62,000 and a contingency of $6,200 for a total amount not to exceed $68,200, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Motion by O'Doherty, second by Pierce. Director Webb, welcome back.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, City Council. WWC Engineering is the company that designed the project and is most familiar with the project. And so, as is customary, we're recommending them for the construction management, construction administration of the project. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Thank you, Director Webb. Council members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, if there's any member of the public that wishes to speak to this item, go ahead and come forward. If you are in the room, raise your hand on Zoom. Seeing none, we will close the public comment period. Back to the council for any comments before the vote. Okay, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item has been approved. Councilor Newman, item 13.
I move to approve Resolution 2023-58, authorizing the temporary full-time equivalent position increase in the Finance Division and a fiscal year 2024 budget amendment in the amount of $96,250, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Second.
Oh, motion by Newman, second by Pierce. Director Wade.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Councilors. The spirit of the resolution before you this evening is really rescinding the optimism I experienced during the fiscal year 2024 amendment planning cycle, during which, as you know, we had a successful recruitment for the very fantastic finance manager, Jennifer Malmborg, and we expected to be able to roll out our ERP project without the additional temporary authorization that Council had approved the prior year. However, in July of 2023, the Finance Division experienced attrition again, and so my optimism was unfounded, and I recommended to the City Manager and HR Director that we actually bring this request back to the Council for consideration, and that this temporary position be authorized for a period of 2 years in fiscal year 2024 and 2025. That time frame is significant because during that time frame, we will go live with the finance phase of our ERP implementation. That's February of 2024. We will go live with Intergov, which only minorly impacts finance, but that's next summer. And then we will kick off the payroll and HR implementation, which heavily impacts finance. And so that 2-year time period should be just about right in terms of covering some of our shortfalls and providing us appropriate time and space to onboard a team member that we were not expecting to be onboarding at this time. With that introduction, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Councilmember. Yeah, Councilmember O'Doherty, please.
For the public, would you say what ERP is?
I'm so sorry. That's our Enterprise Resource Planning software. And so Enterprise Resource Planning software is integrated software that the entire city can use for most of its business needs. And the city kicked off that implementation about a year ago. Finance is on schedule to go live in February of ¡24, and that date has only deviated from our original plan by 4 months, even despite all of the attrition we've had. And I would note that our consultants consistently tell us that we deliver above and beyond what they normally see. And I'm really proud of that with our small staff, but I do believe that this additional position may be necessary to pull off what's ahead of us.
Thank you, Councilor Doherty. Yeah, Councilor Newman, please.
Could you explain to council why you're only asking for 2 years and not a permanent position, please?
Absolutely. As many of the council may remember and the public may remember if you attended budget sessions, the city is currently conducting a staffing analysis. And the results of that staffing analysis are really going to show the city where it should strategically grow its permanent full-time positions. And so I would never recommend at this time, particularly with my role in finance, and candidly the city manager would not approve me asking for a permanent full-time position, because in the end we're going to take the recommendations from our consultants and prioritize our growth needs, and finance may not land at the top.
Thank you. Any other council members have questions? Seeing none, thank you, Director Wade. We will go to members of the public on this item. If there's any member of the public that wishes to speak to this item, go ahead and raise your hand on Zoom or come forward in the room. Okay, seeing none, we will close the public comment period. Back to the council for comments. Okay, Director Wade, I appreciate your optimism. Even if it brings us one other item on our agenda, in my mind, that is no problem at all.
Thank you.
You bet. We know how hard you all are working, understaffed all the time. All right, City Clerk, you can call the roll, please.
Newman.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item has been approved. We will move on to item 14. Councilor Richardson.
Thank you. I move to approve Resolution 2023-48 of the City of Laramie City Council, certifying the 2023 Laramie Growth Area Plan, a collaboration between Albany County and the City of Laramie in its entirety, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Motion by Richardson, second by Pierce. Mr. Gabatuller, welcome.
Yes. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of City Council. I'm excited to bring forth to you the Laramie Area Growth Plan this evening. It's been a culmination of about a year and a half's worth of work, so it's always good to kind of be at the summit, as it were. But I'd like to give a little background on the plan and how we got to where we are tonight. In 2021, the City Council adopted policy goals in a resolution signed February 15th, where one of the milestones was this policy goal, which kind of guided this planning process. And I'll just read it here. It says, City and County will create and adopt a joint agreement for development within the rural-urban interface, a high-priority growth area, inclusive infrastructure, wastewater management, and economic growth. So that's kind of driving this planning process. And then in September, I apologize, that was in 2021. So in September of the same year, the City Council entered into an agreement with the county with a formal MOU to coordinate and conduct this plan. We put out the RFP for the plan, and Logan Simpson, a consulting firm out of Fort Collins, was chosen to assist us with the following scope. To review and consider modifications to the city and county comp plans related to growth boundaries, provide policy recommendations for development within the defined growth area, review existing regulations, statutes, procedures, and provide recommendations for changes to regulations for the growth area, and then to develop a city-county growth area agreement for future considerations. I will also mention that Melissa Ruth is on Zoom with us this evening, and she is with Logan Simpson's and has assisted us throughout the process. So if we could give her a chance to present after staff presentation, I think that would be beneficial as well. As mentioned, the MOU, formal MOU with the county is in place. I'll also mention that Mr. Gertsch, the planning director for Albany County, is also here joining us this evening. An intergovernmental committee was formed between members of the City Council, the Board of Commissioners, WYDOT Road and Bridge, or Albany County Road and Bridge, as well as others. This project was divided into 4 phases. First, we collected background data, got the consultants up to speed with the area that we know very well, but we wanted to bring them up to speed on all the planning we've done up to this point with all the plans that we've adopted over the years, and kind of get them up to speed. So that was always an important process when bringing a consultant on board, and one that I think we jived really well with them on. We did over 50 in-person interviews with stakeholders in the community throughout this phase, kind of also being in the first phase of the project, asking the public's opinion on where this planning process should go, what should be highlighted, what should be focused on. So those 50 in-person interviews were also, we also had questionnaires for the general public online, where we did receive about 200 responses. I want to note that in your packet there is a link, there is a link to the full appendix with the public input we received, which is always important in a planning process like this, to assure that we did our utmost to try to get a true pulse on the community and where they felt the growth should be placed in the future, where we should focus growth. Phase 2 of the project was a technical analysis. Again, Logan Simpson helped us out tremendously with this. We had Stan Tech on board, and they specialize in kind of the public utility side of growth analysis. So that is also an appendix in the plan. During this phase, we also continued the public input. We did this throughout, again, to assure that the community voice was heard. We set up booths at community events like the Farmers Market, Freedom Has a Birthday, Jubilee Days, as well as the county fair. A second survey was conducted as well during this period, and we received 50 responses from that, as well as the responses recorded in the appendix that we kind of noted from our interactions with the public during those public events. Then came phase 3 and 4, where we started drafting and refining the plan according to what we heard and what the analysis was showing. I know I'm hitting this a lot, but I just wanted to give a couple of dates as far as when formal public hearings that were advertised, as we usually do, were held. So these were either with the Planning Commission or with a joint work session, either with you all that we had or with the County Planning and Zoning Commission. And those were held on September 22nd, 2022, October 24th, 2022, November 14th, 2022, and then April 10th, 2023. Again, these were all public hearings that were not just the surveys, not just the public input that we got from the community events, but actually advertised the way we're asked to, and how we've decided to best engage the public. So the City Planning Commission recommended adoption of the growth plan in its entirety at their April 10th regular meeting. Also happy to note that the Albany County Board of Commissioners certified the plan as presented at their July 18th, 2023 meeting, so just 2 weeks ago. So following on the heels of that, it is before you this evening. I will turn it back over to you, but I'm glad to talk about next steps after the vote or whatever you decide.
Thank you, Mr. Gabatuller. I'm going to go ahead and recognize Ms. Ruth for a moment if you have anything to add.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. My name is Melissa Ruth, part of the Logan Simpson consulting team. It has been wonderful working with the City of Laramie and Albany County on this process. I just want to highlight a couple quick things. I think Philip did a really great job of explaining the whole process and the extensive public engagement that went on through this kind of 1.5 year long process. So this plan is one of the first growth plans in the state of Wyoming. There is only one other plan that was adopted between City of Sheridan and Sheridan County in 2017. So I commend the City of Laramie and Albany County for taking the lead in this joint growth process. This plan builds upon the city and county comprehensive plans, so it does not replace the county and city comprehensive plans. It builds upon those and is supplemental to those. And it serves as the foundation for the intergovernmental agreement and any future zoning resolution amendments for both the city and the county. Re-highlighting some public engagement. So we had nearly 200 questionnaire responses for phase 1. Again, we had 50 community interviews that we did in phase 1. And then we brought those folks back in phase 2 and 3 to do an additional 45 interviews. And then as far as public outreach in person, we were at farmers markets, Freedom Has a Birthday, Jubilee Days, all sorts of events throughout the summer. And then, of course, everything was available online for public comment as well. The draft plan has been available for public comment since April of this year, and we've received about 500 views on the plan, but no new comments since we started the hearing process back in April. That is all I have. I'll stand for questions.
Mr. Ruth, thank you. Mr. Gabatuller, please.
Yeah, if I may, I didn't want to put the cart before the horse, as it were, with going over next steps, but I'll frame it as potential next steps, right?
Thank you.
For if the plan is adopted this evening. As Melissa mentioned, kind of this is the foundation for 2 things that we'll bring forth in the future, and one of those is an intergovernmental agreement that hopefully will be put into place and crafted with the county that will address this growth area, that is in the plan, that's outlined in the plan, and development in that area and how that will be addressed. And then the regulations is the second part. So anything that this will be more of a heavier lift on the county side, given that the growth area is all outside of the city limits obviously. But anything that, we entered into, or that the county enters into that needs to be placed in front of city council will come forth as well. And that's, zoning, anything to any policies that are put into place to kind of push us in the direction of the goals of this plan would be the regulations side.
Thank you, Mr. Gabatuller. And Mr. Gertz, I just want to give you an opportunity to speak if there's anything you'd like to add. We sure appreciate you being here. Welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for this opportunity. I'd just like to add that it's been a great process. I think working with the city and with Logan Simpson has been very good process. Everybody's worked well together. I just would like to emphasize the robust community outreach that has occurred, and all the comments that we received and the meetings that we held. I think this is a really good plan that's really community driven and will be a good guide for both the city and the county going into the future. So.
Thank you, and thank you for your efforts on it. We sure appreciate it. Council members, do we have any questions from the council? Councilor Gabriel, please.
Thank you, Mayor. And this is something I know that Councilor Shumway has brought up in the past, and I just wanted to get either Philip's comment, David, or Melissa concerning the document talks about the plan is not regulatory, but instead an advisory document. The LGA plan is used as a guide for other actions and regulations such as zoning and subdivision regulations. I'm wondering, in light of that and the recent decisions by the state legislature on zoning, city and county, and I need to go back and refresh my memory on what the legislature has done, but I was just wondering from your standpoint how those decisions enter into this decision.
Yeah, so the history of the cooperation between the city and the county has obviously ebbed and flowed, in the past few years as far as what we as city staff get to review in the county. I mean, that's changed. At this point, it's decided that it's not like it was when we were required to provide comment and review any subdivision within a mile of the city boundary. I mean, we still provide advisory comments, but it's not as it was where it was more in depth, that review process. As far as your point is it's a great point. I mean, this is similar to a comprehensive plan as far as all the elements of it that are not it is a guiding document. So this is a foundation, again, for future zoning, for future regulations and policies that would actually go into our UDC, our Unified Development Code. But at this juncture, this is basically, as you read, Council Member, the guiding document. So really, the two pieces after this, the intergovernmental agreement and any type of future regulations, that's where, those actually have teeth as far as, regulating any future development goes. And those would be in front of you as well.
Thank you, Council Member. Thank you, Mr. Gabatuller. Any other questions? Councilor Doherty, please.
I just thought we should acknowledge that Mr. Gertz is the county planner. I don't know if, I didn't remember hearing that mentioned, so in case people were wondering what his role is, and we appreciate working with the county staff too. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilor Doherty. Appreciate you making sure that was clear. Any other?
And maybe along that same line, if I could ask David a question concerning.
Please.
Kind of the same issue. David, if you would comment a little bit more about what the legislature has done recently and how this works into this document.
Okay, yeah.
See it?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. So a few years back or whatever, it used to be that, I guess when I moved here, 15 years ago, the city had joint jurisdiction with the county within 1 mile to review and approve subdivisions. So more recently, the legislature changed that to allow for the city to still have the opportunity to review and comment on subdivisions, but no longer have the ability to vote and say yay or nay on a subdivision. So that still exists. With this project, this is more of a kind of a zoning type thing when we get into the zoning regulations. The zoning has always been separate. There's never been like a joint jurisdiction when it came to zoning in the county and in the city. This project is a joint plan, which I think has always been allowed by statute. And so with the plan, there's nothing really different there. Now, when it comes to the agreement, the intergovernmental agreement, if something like that gets approved, that would basically be an agreement between the city and the county to how the county and the city kind of develop, and it's kind of going to be a mutually beneficial document, and how we see things going forward. That will be where when a subdivision comes forward, depending on what this document says, as well as the county regulations that will be amended and include some of these things, that will be where the city and the county kind of both have a say in what is happening there. The county will be the one that kind of takes lead on that per se, and will say yay or nay on any application. So the city still won't have necessarily that avenue to do anything, but with the agreement, the county will follow what that is. And so we're coming up with a mutually beneficial set of regulations and agreement, so that when the city grows into the county, it looks the way the county wants to see it. And when we're allowing development in the county around this area, it's not going to block, transportation corridors or, where water lines and sewer lines and those types of things can be. So, this really is a way to get around kind of the changes with the city and make it a good document, or I guess direct both the city and county in a way that we are both agreeable to and will be beneficial for the entire community, I guess.
Thank you, Mr. Gooch. Thank you,
I
Councilor.
appreciate that description and all the information that city and county have to really review when they're doing development. And with your experience from the county, I know it's going to be helpful to work with you and the county commissioners, and I think it's going to be a great friendship and mutual agreement. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other council members have questions? Councilor Doherty, please.
When we say growth, we're not just talking about annexation into the city, right? We're talking about the population's going to grow. As much as I'd like to freeze us in amber, I like the size of Laramie. The reality is we've been growing at 1% a year. We know the population's going to grow. So the growth that we're talking about, it's not saying that this is all going to become part of the city. It's saying that this is how we mesh city and county. Is that correct? Am I understanding it right? Or do we envision everything becoming part of Laramie down the road?
Yes, council member, through you, Mayor. I think it's important to realize that one of the most important parts of the growth plan, I would say, is that map that you have. and to fully realize all the growth in the colors, and the different zoning classifications, I mean, we're looking very long-term. And comprehensive plans, as all of them are, I mean, they're at least 25, 30 years, usually. Guiding documents, again, is the key word. But yeah, I mean, anticipating growth like this to really, fill out that whole boundary in the near term is not what any of us, not any of the stakeholders are really anticipating here. Really, I think in a nutshell, I think if I were to answer your question, as to what growth we're talking about, I would say adjacent to the city boundary is what we're most focused on, so that land is used in its highest and best use, so to speak, so that, perhaps, in areas that we are focusing infrastructure and growth in the future, those areas wouldn't be used for, perhaps really low density housing, but more, higher density that, could be served by, and the return on investment for city infrastructure and so forth would be better. So yes, I think you're on the right track. Yeah.
Thank you, Councilor. Thank you, Mr. Gautuller. Council members, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, we're going to go to the public on this item. If there's any member of the public that wishes to speak to the growth plan, go ahead and come forward if you're in the room, or raise your hand if you are on Zoom. Seeing none, we will close the public comment period. Back to the council for any comments. Yeah, please, Vice Mayor.
I just quickly want to commend all of those who participated in this. It's been a long journey. It's required a tremendous amount of commitment and work. I appreciate the collaboration and relationships that have been built between the city and the county, and it really forges pathways that I think are going to be very valuable to our working together in the future. And so I just want to say thank you to all of you for the work that you put into this. I think this is an amazing process, and it's taken years, a lot of work over the last couple of years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Yeah, Councilor Shumway, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I believe that this is a red letter day for the city and county. I think the message is going out now that the city council and the county commissioners, our city staff, and obviously David Gertz and his staff are now working together. And we have a feeling of cooperation and trying to make sure that the responsible growth of our city and our county is something that we can do together, and it can be agreeable. And I appreciate the sentiment that's been expressed here today, and for those that are working to make sure that we have a community that we can all be proud of.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other comments, Council? Councilor Gabriel, please.
I'd just like to echo the comments. Vice Mayor, well said. Councilor Shumway. This was not always the case, because I was a former county commissioner, and we had some disagreements over the years, but recently with the Casper Aquifer Agreement and this potentially being approved by City Council here tonight, I think we've come a long way, and it's really great to have this cooperation between the two bodies. Certainly is.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other comments, Council? Okay, I would echo those comments, Council, as well. And I said it when we adopted the Aquifer Protection Plan, but I will say it again. It's really hard to get two governments moving in the same direction under the same plan. And I continue to believe these are plans that we all can be proud of. This is good use of public funds, and this is good governance. But I think one note I wanted to make when I was assigning things, I asked, who worked on this, and I just wanted to note that the council members and the commissioner, I was the other council member, but the other two council members are no longer council members, and the commissioner is no longer commissioner. So I just wanted to acknowledge I think that illustrates how much work staff did, I think is what I'm getting at here, to keep this alive despite sort of changeover in elections and things of that sort. So I hope you all know how thankful we are for your efforts. City Clerk, you can call the roll.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 noes, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item has been approved. Council members, we will move on then to item 15. Councilor Gabriel, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I would move that the council approve Resolution 2023-59, setting the time, date, and location of pre-council meetings, regular meetings, work sessions, and public hearings of the city council, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Motion by Gabriel, second by Newman. Council members, I'll go ahead and start. This is fairly straightforward. Councilor Gabriel and I had brought forward the idea of moving pre-council to 6:15 because we have not used those other 15 minutes, and the idea is that maybe we could use those to eat dinner or ride our bikes to council or something like that. Maybe just better use of time since we're not using it. So you'll see two items before you. And they both sort of get to the same end, but this one, the second one is going to be for our rules of procedure. So, council members, do you have any questions on this item? City Clerk, did I miss anything in here that's important?
Mayor, if the council does approve this change, staff will also work on all the subsequent changes, noticing in the paper, as well as updating our agenda, the top of our agendas and notices and things like that. So,
Thank you, City Clerk.
Yep.
And how long would the change take? I recall we had a conversation about there maybe being a hold period between this change and meetings that were noticed already. Is that the case?
Mayor, I believe that we could go ahead and make this active before the next regular meeting. We can publish the resolution after, assuming it's approved, within the week, and that would give the public notice, and we can send out some additional notification as well.
Thank you, City Clerk. Council members, any questions? Councilor Pierce, please.
Yeah, so just for the public, this is only affects our meetings on the first and the third Tuesday of the month, and it's our regular meeting. And the official meeting will still start at 6:30. We've just bumped up by 15 minutes our time that we are required to get here, which is moving from 6, if this passes, to 6:15. Okay? But a little confusing for some of us council members, maybe me on some days. So on the second and the fourth Tuesday, I have to be here at 6, but on the first and the third, I now have to be here at 6:15, for whatever that's worth.
Thank you, Councilor Pierce. That's important clarification. Councilor Gabriel, please.
Thanks, Mayor. I was just also in consideration of staff that has to, generally speaking, appear at pre-council meetings, and then we talk for 5 minutes and they sit here for another 25. I was just, not only for the councilors, but thinking a little bit about staff members and how busy they are as well, that they can maybe use this extra time a little bit better.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other questions, Council? Seeing none, we will go to the public on this item. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak to this item? Go ahead and come forward or raise your hand on Zoom. And City Clerk, I don't know if you saw, Councilor Richardson is back in the attendees list.
I did. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Okay, close the public comment period. Back to the council for any comments before the vote. All right. City Clerk, you can call the roll. Yes, Councilor O'Doherty, that is an exceptional idea. We should wait for Councilor Richardson to get in so she can vote.
Or maybe she has a comment.
Councilor Richardson, I assume the city clerk has sent you a request that might be hidden on your screen to join us. Yeah, Councilor Pierce, please.
I'm going to go ahead and make a comment as long as we're waiting on
Please.
Councilor Richardson. I'm not going to support this, only because I feel like it should either be 6 or 6:15 for all the meetings. And I also feel like if we're going to bump back our meeting time on our regular meetings, why don't we bump it up? Because we always go, I mean, we don't always, but we many times go late into the evening. And I get tired, you know, I'm sleepy. It's 9:30, 10, 10:30 sometimes. And, you know, what good decisions are made at that hour? So I would just as soon move it the other way. Start at pre-council at 6 and then our regular council meetings at 6:15. But that's just me. I don't really care, actually, but either way.
Thank you, Councilor Pierce. That's a good point. Anyone else? We're borrowing time from one side of this conversation either way. Okay. Councilor Shumway.
Well, since we're killing time,
She was in and out.
here's the thought. I noticed that when we began at 6 or 6:15 or 6:30 here, well, 6 or 6:15, that many of the members of our staff and the city council come here with dinner. And it does not, that extra 15 minutes would not only give them time to have dinner, but also anyone that's going to attend the meeting that have that extra 15 minutes for them to have dinner before they have to be down at City Hall to participate in this meeting. So I still, I like the idea of not having the dead time where everyone's just sitting around doing nothing, but I think that I'm going to support this because I think it makes our meeting flow a little bit more without breaks in it, so I'll support it.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other comments before the vote, Council? Okay. City Clerk, you can call the roll on this item.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Pierce.
No.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses and 1 no, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item has been approved. We'll go back to Councilor Gabriel for item 16.
I move to approve Resolution 2023-60, amending council rules of procedure as reflected in Attachment A related to pre-council meeting times, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Motion by Gabriel, second by Newman. Council, this just updates, City Clerk, correct me if I'm wrong, but this just updates our rules of procedure to reflect the changes in the previous resolution.
That's correct, Mayor.
Great. Any questions, council members? Okay, we will go to the public on this item. Any members of the public wishing to speak to the council on this item can go ahead and come forward in the room. There's no one left on Zoom. Seeing none, we will close the public comment period. Back to the council for any comments. Okay. City Clerk, I just wanted to acknowledge the amount of work you put in to bring this tonight. She hurried this along so it would come this week instead of in 2 weeks. So thank you, Nancy.
Welcome.
And you can call the roll whenever you're ready.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item has been approved. We will move on to item 17, which is public comments. Any members of the public wishing to speak to the council can go ahead and come forward now. Seeing none, we will close the public comment period. Council members, any future work session topics you would like us to consider? Okay.
I have a
Okay. Somebody's got one. I feel it coming. Vice Mayor, please.
Yes, I would like to suggest that we have a work session related to the creation of a map that would provide the public with disability parking throughout the city. It has been a suggestion that we've received the last couple years while attending public events where we have a booth, and a member of the community recently wrote a letter bringing it to our attention, and it is an idea that are shared by a number of members of our community.
Is there another council member? Councilor Newman. Okay.
Could we add sidewalks to that as well? Because I keep getting emails about that.
Council members, it strikes me as maybe we should discuss this in the work session, but that they might be valuable as separate maps, like a safe routes map and a parking map potentially, but we can discuss that in a work session. Is that clear enough, City Clerk? And Councilor Newman, are you the second council member then?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Any others, council members? Councilor Gabriel?
This is a question concerning the tentative on our schedule, ward meetings, the 5th Tuesday of this month. Is that been determined?
Councilmember, next week we have a work session on ward meetings. So I believe by the end of that, there should be a clearer sense of what we're doing, which gives us enough time to notice, correct, City Clerk?
That's correct, Mayor.
So we'll get to the bottom of it.
That's right.
We've got kind of a wide-ranging work session. Okay. Yeah, Vice Mayor, please.
I do have one further suggestion, and after having attended a couple of public events, the topic of housing and the state of rentals in our community are a passionate concern that many people are having right now. And there are some practices being implemented by rental individuals or agencies that are concerning not only for our student population, but it is beginning to affect our aging population, elderly people. There are concerns coming out from the Epson Center, et cetera. And I think we may need to have a very serious work session to look at the state of rentals and what's going on and what we might do.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Okay, and Councilor Doherty. Thank you. Councilor Pierce, please.
Yeah, the council, just to kind of get out in the public, a few of us are at the farmers market on Friday nights. We've got 2 more Fridays to go working on recycling. So if anybody wants to come down and chat with us, either this Friday or next Friday. I'm not sure who else is going to be there. We can't have a quorum. I don't really know how many of us are going to be there. Maybe we don't know either. But anyway, we're available this Friday and a week from Friday at the farmers market.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Or Councilor Pierce, goodness. All right, council members, any other work session topics? Councilor Newman? Okay.
I'm just
You
getting
just
ready
turned
for
your
the next
microphone
one.
on, and I thought maybe when it rains, it pours on these, I suppose. Councilor Pierce, item 19, please.
Hey, thank you. I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Second by Newman. Motion by Pierce, sorry, everyone. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, council members, we are adjourned.
Thank you.